Welcome to another edition of Walter Butler Motivation 101. I'll come right out with it. I'm turning 50. That's right. I'm turning 50 this fall. And when I first started looking at that number, when I was staring at that number in the face, it kind of scared me. It was a little bit daunting. 50, 50, that's half a century. So I was a little bit daunted about turning 50, a little worried about turning 50. And I talked with some of my friends, some of my family, people who have turned 50. And you know what? They say it's actually better once you get through 50 and the birthdays and the all the different things surrounding the celebration of a 50th birthday. But once you get through that, and even if there's a little anxiety around it, on the other side, you find out it's not that bad. It's actually better, is what I've heard from others that I've talked to about turning 50. But when you're, like I said, when you're on this side of 50, the early side of 50, the short side of 50, it can be a little daunting. But then I thought about it. It shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, it should be something that I look forward to. 50 years, I made it half a century. Thinking about that, and I don't know why I thought about it, but and this is the title of the talk today, is what is the rest of your life worth? I'm looking at the worth, or what the rest of my life is worth from 50 beyond, from 50 on. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I think it's worth a whole lot. Maybe you're 25, maybe you're 35, maybe you're 45 years old. But if you stop and you look forward and you say, hey, you ask yourself, hey, what is the rest of my life worth? I think you should say, the rest of my worth is a lot. And here's why. Here's why the rest of my life at the age of 50 is worth a whole lot. I've been running my life kind of using the 4 F's, faith, family, finances, fitness. I didn't plan it that way, the 4 F's. It just kind of turned out that way. Sounds good. It works well for me. Faith, family, finances, fitness. At this point, in that order for myself. And so I'm looking at turning 50 years old. I'm starting to think about what is the rest of my life worth. I think it's worth a whole lot. At 50 years old, I've developed a faith over time, a faith in my Lord. I don't know what your religion is. I don't know what your religious background is. But the older you get, probably the more faith you're going to build. And the rest of my life, the reason that's worth so much, the rest of my life is I can take my faith that I built over these 50 years old and build the faith of others. The second F was family. I can take the first F, my faith, and pour that into my family, which I have done and will continue to do for the rest of my life. That's worth a lot to me, to build the faith of my family, and my son and my daughter and my wife, build their sense of inner peace and security and love. That, my friends, is worth a lot. The next, second F, family. The rest of my life, what's the rest of my life worth? It's worth a lot in terms of my family. I wanted my family. I put them together. It's on me to build them, to support them, to be there for them. To be the rock in a world that is pretty turbulent and chaotic. That is my family. That is worth an awful lot to me. I will be there for my family, and I will build my family, and I will be part of their lives. The next 2 F's, those are the enablers. Those help me do those things surrounding family and faith that I want to do the next 25, 35, maybe 50 years of my life. I don't know how long the rest of my life is going to be, and I'm not fixated on that because I know it's going to be great. Finances. You all know Warren Buffett, or probably heard of Warren Buffett, the third richest man in the world. He built 99% of his net worth after the age of 50. I intend to build what I have now, my finances now, by multiples through the rest of my life. What is the rest of my life worth in terms of my finances? A whole lot. I can do things now at 50 that I couldn't do at 25 and 35 and 45. So what is the rest of my life worth? In terms of finances, an awful lot, and I'm going to make that happen. And then finally, fitness. When I was a young man, I took my fitness for granted. I had a few health scares here over the last 10 years, 15 years. I re-emphasized it. not only was I in fitness, but I had a purpose. I had a vision of where I want my family to be, a vision of where I want my faith to be. I have that at 50 that I didn't have when I was 25, that I didn't have when I was 35. I have that vision, and fitness is a huge part of it. Fitness is an enabler. If I get up in the morning and I don't want to go to the gym on a Saturday morning, all I have to do is think of faith, family. That enabler of fitness is what's going to keep me going, and that's what's going to make the rest of my life worth a whole bunch. So when you look at the rest of your life and ask yourself, and I think it's a good exercise, and ask yourself, what is the rest of your life worth? I think for the vast majority of us, we should come up with a whole lot. It is worth an awful lot wherever we are in life now. What we've done through all those years behind us, even if we're 12, even if we're 18, all those years behind us has given us what we can contribute in the future, which is much more than what we've done in the past. And if you look out forward and you don't see, you can't answer that question, what is the rest of my life? You can't say a whole lot. Then look at those 4 things: faith, family, finances, fitness. Go out there and change them. You owe that to yourself. You can do it. Bust through the fear. Don't settle for a limited vision. Determine what you want and go for it. And finally, low self-esteem. The only person who can give you low self-esteem is yourself. So look at yourself in the mirror, say, it's possible, I can do it. The rest of my life is worth a whole lot, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to change the world. So keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Thanks.